Hello everyone, my name is Linda Breedlove, and I'm the author of the motivational and inspirational book, Embrace the Change, Be a Rebel on Purpose. I'm also really excited to tell everyone today that my next book, Dream Bigger, Be a Rebel on Purpose, is due for release in November. I wanted to tell you a little bit about why I use Be a Rebel on Purpose in the titles of my books. Well, a rebel is a person who refuses allegiance to or resists authority. A rebel is usually defiant and chooses to not conform to the average. Well, I believe we all have a little rebel in us. I might have a little more. Well, we can learn to use our rebellion in positive ways. We can take action in our beliefs in ourselves that we are our own person. We can refuse to be manipulated by others, and we can refuse to be manipulated by society. We do not have to follow the crowd. We can be the leaders instead. And we can stand alone if we need to. Rebels seem to create an excitement, and rebels have an alternate way to do things. Rebels recognize that some things might be difficult, but they choose to do it anyway. Rebels stand out. They stand alone. They stand in front of the crowd, not with the crowd. Rebels do not fit into society's average. But rebellion is not necessarily a terrible thing. Being a rebel is simply one's way of not conforming to everyone else's expectations. Rebels challenge the normal. Rebels have a desire to make change, whether that change be with themselves or with the world. I remember when I was about 16, I was often rebelling against my father, who was overly strict in the way he brought me up. Well, like a lot of teenagers at that age, I did not like to be told what to do and how to do it. I had a friend with a motorcycle. I will call him LK. Well, I had strict instructions from my father to never get on that motorcycle, or I would surely be in an accident, break a leg or an arm, or even worse, I could die. Did I listen? Of course not. I rode on that motorcycle many times as a passenger, and I loved every minute of it. Well, one day LK was teaching me how to drive that motorcycle on a baseball field. He was allowing me to be on the front while he rode behind me. He was teaching me how the throttle worked and the brake worked, and I was a quick learner for most of it. Well, everything was going great until I asked him if I could do a wheelie. Well, LK told me not to do it because he said I wasn't ready. Well, I have to tell you, the rebel in me took over. I didn't listen to LK, and I tried to do a wheelie anyway. Well, I turned the throttle too hard, and LK, myself, and the motorcycle immediately took off on one wheel and fell over backwards. We hit the ground pretty hard, with the motorcycle on top of us. LK wasn't hurt, but I was scratched pretty badly. I had no idea what I was going to tell my dad. I knew he would question me about my cut legs and scratched arms. And if I had told him I was doing a wheelie on LK's motorcycle, I know he would never allow me to be with my friend again. So I took a deep breath and I lied. I told my dad that I fell down the back stairs at our house. Thank goodness he believed me. And to the day that my dad died, he never knew the truth. He never knew about my indiscretion. I did tell my mother, though, when I was about 40-something, and it felt good to finally tell the truth to a parent. Well, history is full of rebels, men and women who refused to conform to the expectations of everyone around them. They refused to accept their existence and had within them an exceedingly strong desire to effect change. Well, in the fashion industry, women everywhere can thank people like Coco Chanel for bringing us the little black dress, which is still in complete style today. Well, she was also responsible, and most of us didn't know about this, but she was responsible for discarding the old-fashioned corset, or girdle as it's also known, which was very binding for women. Well, Coco Chanel's sense of fashion is still regarded as one of the best in history. But men also had a revolutionary stylist, Cristobal Balenciaga. You're all familiar with the Balenciagas. Well, he paved the way with his futuristic and revolutionary styles by adapting old world technique with modern looks. And then there was George Bernard Shaw, who strongly believed that progress is impossible without change. And there was Thomas Edison, who believed that no matter how many mistakes he made or how many failures he had, each one brought him closer to success. And we have many rebels in the music industry. One that stands out quite ahead of the others for me is Joan Jett, the self-professed female rebel of rock and roll. And there's Elvis Presley, probably the most famous rebel of all, with his sexy looks and provocative movements and sense of music while singing. And then we cannot forget James Dean, the most famous rebel of the early 50s. James Dean was a cultural icon and starred in the movie Rebel Without a Cause, which fit his image perfectly. There's other women of rock and roll. Pat Benatar, for instance. She defied the belief that men are better at rock and roll than women. And there are so many more badasses. People like Billy Idol, Stevie Nicks, and more recently Joaquin Phoenix and Keanu Reeves. And both of them have chosen rebellion instead of conformity. Being a rebel doesn't mean you have to be bad. It simply means that you have chosen a path that is different and isn't always the easiest one. Rebels like to face all odds and still win at their game. Rebels care about the world and they care about life, and they have a strong desire to make things better. Change for rebels is absolutely necessary. A rebel stands up for what they believe in against popular opinion. A rebel looks for purpose in their life, and they find it through their passions. It's important to remember that you can maintain a rebel attitude and still be someone who believes in being good. Rebels usually question everything. They know that being perfect is not realistic, but being a better person than they were before is the goal and is what we should strive for every day. A rebel prefers to act instead of just talk about change, because actions truly do speak louder than words. A rebel doesn't usually worry about what other people think about them. They just know what it is that they want to do, and they dedicate themselves to achieve it. A rebel never joins the crowd. They stand alone, and they're true to their convictions. And don't be confused by the true rebel or the rebel that just dresses to look like a rebel. Because being a rebel is not in the clothes they wear or the look they are portraying. Being a rebel is in their attitude. It's in their minds. They are the ones who, when told they cannot do something, they'll just damn well do it. Never underestimate someone with a rebel attitude, for they will prove you wrong. Rebels know the rules, but prefer to make their own. Besides, where's the fun in following all the rules? We all need to remind ourselves now and again that a little rebellion is a good thing, and we can all make a positive impact in our lifetime and on the world. We just need to remember that being different and stubborn about our goals is very important to our purpose in life. And it does not matter what anyone else thinks about us. Don't just settle for being comfortable. Be a rebel on purpose. Thank you, everyone, and have a fabulous day.